Adiel Gorel has helped thousands secure their retirement riches. Even the great Warren Buffett wrote him needing to know more. The answers are all here for you. Welcome to the Remote Control Retirement Riches Show.
A question that I get: how do real estate investments do during different economic states and fluctuations? The ups, the downs. Interesting and very good question here. Very, very good. So I sort of look at the timeline and I divide it into three parts. Part one is the normal part, a decent balance between supply and demand. The economy is generally fine. That's the normal time. That's probably a good portion of the time. The second are booms, like when property prices go up crazy or through the roof. When people go to sell, they get multiple offers, as we have seen during the pandemic in many markets where prices were going up and people were making 20 offers on a house on the same day. That's a boom. And then the third type of a period is a bust, a recession or something of that nature. And we have seen a powerful example of that in the Great Recession of 2008, 9, 10. For me, it was even 11. That's how it went for real estate. So those are the three timelines. I believe that buying single-family homes and holding them for the long term, putting a mere down payment and getting a 30-year fixed rate loan is always a strategy that's going to be very powerful for our long term. Obviously, it's good not to buy exactly at the peak of a boom, but even those work when you keep them for the long term. Obviously, it's very good to buy in the depths of a bust when there's a recession and prices get super low. That's an opportunity to buy, but even during regular times. Now, there are some things that are very counterintuitive. My investors bought more than 10,000 homes over 38 years. I myself, as a person, bought hundreds. So I can talk from experience. Some of the things are not intuitive. Let me give you an example. During times of recession, rentals are more stable and better than during any other time. How could that be? Well, let's take a case. Let's say that you own a rental home and there's a family of tenants living in your home and they've been dreaming about buying their own home, saving up for a down payment, and in fact, they were ready at the end of the lease to tell you, to give you notice and say, we're leaving because we are buying our own home, and you would have a vacant home which you will re-rent. All good, all good. Now a recession comes. So the discussion in that household, and these discussions always start with the word honey. So they say, honey, we were planning on buying a home, but there's a recession. I'm really scared. I could lose my job. You could lose your job. We're not buying a home. We're scared. But of course, they have kids. They need a place to live. They remain as tenants. Multiply this scenario by a few million, and you get that during recession, actually, rentals are stable and good. When are the rentals the worst and the weakest? During booms. Because when there's a boom, the media likes to fan the flame. Oh my God, prices are going up. This guy bought a property and sold it a month later for 50,000 more. Everybody said, oh, honey, let's buy a home. We want to be rich too. And so they leave you during the booms. Rents are actually the least stable, but your properties go up in value like crazy, so no complaints there. It's interesting, in the boom that happened as a result of the pandemic, we haven't seen that because so many tenants became afraid to rent in apartment complexes and share the same elevator because of the virus, that tenants were seeking to rent single-family homes in large quantities. So during the boom, the property boom that came during the pandemic, not only did the prices go up like crazy, but rentals became super strong because of the fear of the virus and not wanting to ride, the same elevator, etc. So, but normally, here is my advice after many trials and errors, many years, decades of what to do if you have a rental property and there's a recession. So, sometimes the recession could drop the value even below the value of the mortgage balance. So now you say, oh my God, my property is underwater. And then you feel like, oh my God, I can't be like that. I need to give my property to the bank. I need to let them foreclose. That's how people lose money. But remember, as I said, during recessions, the rentals are actually good. And your mortgage is still getting paid every month every month. So the best strategy during a recession is to do the single act that is the hardest act for a human being to do. Nothing. You do nothing. You can toss and turn. Just let it sit there. That's a very profound point. So much so that sometimes I even talk about the power of doing nothing. By the way, relating it to long-term investments, you buy a nice home in the Sunbelt states, in metropolitan areas that are good and is new. There are more criteria. We talk about them at our next event. And then you get a mortgage that's 30-year fixed and then proceed to do nothing. Just let it sit there. You visit it in 10 or 12 years, you're going to be quite happy. And then you're going to say one sentence that I heard my entire career and I hear every day. I should have bought more. Even I say that, and I bought a lot. So again, real estate investments behave in a different way that you might think during different economic cycles. You can ask more questions about it at our next event. You can register for free at icgre.com under events, and we will be happy to cover how real estate investments do during the different economic cycles. Thanks for joining me today. Click the subscribe button for more video on real estate. Got a question or comment? I love questions and comments. Leave yours below. And here's another video you've got to see.